Good. Okay. How's the week? Any challenges? Any hiccups? Did we manage to connect with clients and buyer behavior groups? Oh, yeah, go Long.
Hi, Professor. I have a quick question. Like, I see
Only
a
if you
lot
call
of
me Dave. Hold on. Only if you call me Dave.
Oh, like I have a lot of questions like regarding the Blackboard assignments. I see a
Okay.
lot of like hotspot like assignment dues. I don't know if I need to do anything to it.
Okay, so why don't we go there? Why don't we go there, my friend? Better to visualize, isn't it? So let's go to the visualization of it. Let's go to Blackboard. I don't think I have Blackboard. No, I'll open the Blackboard. 1 second here.
I did like sign up through the link that you sent us, but I don't know if I need to do anything else.
Well, there's multiple different ones. The best way to if you're ever unsure, there's assignments for sure. So you'll have a list of assignments, and in those assignments, you'll have you will actually hold on, let me just get some faces up here so I can see faces. You will have in that assignments, you'll have a list of things that are due. Now with this here, you've got the course syllabus. So if we go to the course syllabus, and the course syllabus is a good barometer of where you need to be, because the course syllabus is pretty much the contract between you and me. So this is what you agree to. Okay, so when we look at the HubSpot stuff, so the first certificate you would have completed this week, but you probably haven't. Is that what I hear?
Yes, I'm really confused right now, like with all the.
Okay, so it's not a big deal. So you just need to start working on the HubSpot element. I'm not really that concerned about the time frame of them. I put them in here to keep you guys on track, meaning that get on track. I'm nervous that you procrastinate it. Like if you learn these things now, they will help you in your strategy building when you go work with the client. Because when we talk about, for example, inbound marketing, we're going to talk about more about that today. We're going to talk about behavioral marketing and segmentation. And that will, because more and more now, we're talking about the inbound methodology of how we meet and serve clients. So again, everything that you see, so you got number one here, HubSpot inbound certificate due the 22nd. You just need to start working on it. You need to go to that HubSpot link. Go in there, you'll be able to access the academy, you'll be able to access those courses, and you can start working through them. There's other ones that'll come up like as we go along here. You'll see the next one is social media certificate that's due February 19th. You'll find it in HubSpot Academy. Okay, once you finish the inbound one, move on to that one. Now they do say 7 hours and 4 hours, but I don't know, did anybody feel like it took 7 hours? No. It doesn't take that long to do. It doesn't take that long to do. They're not, they say the long number of hours just to make sure that people prepare for that element, but it won't take you that long to do. You've got social media elements, and then you're working towards your first integration, which is your first assignment, your activity assignment one, group assignment number one, which is really SOS, which is situation analysis, objective, and strategy. We're not going into tactics yet. We will get to tactics, and we're going to start talking about tactics eventually down the road here. We're still in the element of understanding situation, objectives, and strategy as we move towards how we build the plan to execute. And then, of course, we go down here. You'll see another one here. Now, all these things are over here, my friend. So you go to assignments, and you go into assignments, you will see. All these are all listed here. Here's the inbound marketing certificate. Here's the HubSpot one. And if you go into them, you should see a date. You see?
Do I need to like sign up for all of them, or I can access all the certificates through one?
You can now access them because you're in my club. You're in my special club. And by the way, you do not need to copy badges over here because I have a special club dashboard. So I can see what you've done, what you completed.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. That help?
Yes, that's helpful. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions, comments, queries, any other challenges?
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, shoot, Ronald.
Okay, we just met the buyer behavior team about the group projects. So both teams have the questions about, because it seems that both teams need to do the situation analysis.
Yeah.
So their question is, what's the expectations about which team do what, or both teams work on the analysis together?
Yeah, so you want to work on, like, the whole SOS thing is about you guys working together. Okay, situation, objectives, and strategy all working together, because you're not going to have two different strategies. They're going to have one strategy. They're supporting you guys, and a vice versa. So what they're going to do for you is, like we're going to talk about today, we're talking about consumer behavior and behavioral marketing segmentation. They're going to help you build personas. They're going to help you build the customer journey map. And then they'll help in the execution piece. When we get to tactics, they're going to make some recommendations around certain consumer behavioral principles around color, images, and things like that help as we move down that pathway. You see what I mean?
Okay.
So it's not like you're not doing all the heavy lifting yourselves. This is a close collaboration. I'm expecting to see pretty much the same strategy and objectives from both teams on both sides. Because again, you see what I mean?
So we would basically,
you're working together. Now, their tactics are going to be a lot different than your tactics. Okay. Your tactics is going to be based around the communication, promotional strategy or promotional tactics. You're going to have different promotional tactics that you're going to take, whatever that element is, and you'll start building those elements. You'll start putting some measurements to those elements like Dagmar and IDEA and things like that to try and figure out, okay, we said this is our objective with our organization. Now, what kind of key measurements are we going to implement, and how are we going to do it to realize those results? Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
So basically, we work, as you said, we work together, but they will do their report on the analysis and we do ours, right?
Yeah. It's just you guys are working together, figuring out the strategy together, figuring out the objectives, the strategy, because there's going to be one or two objectives from the client, and that's the one you're going to be working towards. And the outcome you can still measure the same outcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, and the other thing, words of advice for you, and I said this to other groups, and I'll say it again, is that have the two project managers meet with the client. Now, if the two project managers are in the room, because you don't want to overwhelm the client, because going in with like 5 or 6 individuals on each side is going to be overwhelming and it's going to look disorganized. So the best way to do this is to have the two project leads go into the meeting. Now, you could do it at Douglas and do it in a classroom or do it in a meeting room, and they can be there listening in, which is totally fine. Just don't have them on the screen because it's going to be a distractor. You know what I mean? That makes sense? Okay, good. Awesome. Any other questions, comments, queries? Any other questions, comments, queries, anything that's plaguing you?
Hi, I have it. So I have one.
Go ahead, Sophia.
So I understand that part of the our project we will be doing with the buyer behavior classmates, but about the presentation, all right, the final presentation that the client will be joining the class, right? We're going to be presenting to the class, and we're going to be presenting to the client as well. How is that going to be? Does the presentation need to have the buyer behavior deliverables too, or not? They are different because we have different dates of delivering to.
No. The buyer behavior students do not present to the client at all. They just present to me.
Oh, all right, got it.
And so what they're going to do is they're going to work with you guys on a cross element. You guys are the sole elements of this project. So the ultimate goal of what this client's going to get out of it is more around the promotional elements, but we're going to leverage in some of that consumer behavior principles into those things to make sure that we can help you give them more deliverables and more things that are going to enhance their campaign.
Sweet. Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay. Awesome. Good questions. Any other questions? Any other questions?
I have a question. Because we couldn't contact our not project manager, but the CEO of our company. He hasn't replied to our messages yet. So I was just wondering what we should do in this situation, because I think we need to arrange a meeting, but
Yeah.
we can.
So what we can do is Dara is that at the end of today or during the break, we can compose. I can compose an email and see if I can get a response, and if not, I'll use some other tactics.
Okay, thank you.
Usually the which company?
3D Jaws Manufacturing.
Yeah, that's
something.
interesting.
I know. So we contact them on this website, and then I also contacted a girl from buyer behavior class, and she said that she couldn't contact them as well.
Okay.
And so we're just confused right now.
No, don't be confused. That's good. We will fix that situation. So I know it's interesting because he did reach out to me before you guys, this like last week ago, saying, what is happening? I'm like, so maybe that's what he was maybe going, he was going to be away for a week or so. So let's figure out who that is. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Prem.
Is the date for the final presentation confirmed or is it still tentative?
Nope. Final presentation is always confirmed. It's on the syllabus.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's always on the syllabus. It's the last day of classes. Good. I think I'm pretty sure it's the last day of classes. Let me just double check now. Now you got me thinking, let me go look at that real quick. That's the old one. New one. Do we have a new one?
Shows the final exam is after that.
Yeah, the final exam is a take home.
Oh, sick. That's nice.
Yeah. Final exam is a take home. Let's see. Hold on. So there you go. 10th. Final day of classes. Good?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. Good. 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 Okay. And I'm just making sure there's nothing. I cannot see anything in HubSpot too. Why can you not see anything in HubSpot? You're not logged in?
Hi, Professor. I logged in, but I don't see any assignments to do.
No, you have to go, you have to go get them. So you go in there and you go look for inbound marketing certificate. There's a link in the assignment portal in Blackboard. Hi, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you just open up HubSpot Academy and you just go in there and you search for it and it pops up. Are you okay, Kasha?
But it said go to the Google document to input your information when I try to click the instructions.
So hold on, let's because you're going to Google. Google's a different thing altogether. So hold on a minute. So let's go back over to the screen here. So here's all the certificates. So here's this first one, HubSpot.
Yes.
Okay. The Google Doc sheet that was there, that's I wouldn't even worry about that. I wouldn't even think of what that was. What was that from? Maybe I did that from last time. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. All you need to do is go through to HubSpot because I gave you access through HubSpot. I signed you all up. So when you go into HubSpot, so you go to HubSpot, you go into the Academy, you sign up, you're probably will be signed in. So you go in, you sign in. So go to my account. This is my account. So I get the back end. So I get to see all your elements. So go here, inbound marketing. There we go. Inbound marketing certificate. Come down here. And there you got inbound marketing certification right there. 9 lessons.
Marketing certification. I'm Adrithi.
And I'm Christine. We're so happy you've chosen to
Yeah?
join us.
Yep.
Taking the certification is a great
Yeah, so
way to
everything now,
ensure
you've got
my-
access to inside this. So you can go in here and you can look, and there's the other one. There's another one that we're going to be doing. There's other ones that you guys are doing. that you just come in here. You can even search by marketing. You can search by whatever way that makes it easier for you, but you can come in here and grab the access to it. Okay. Good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sorry to confuse with the Google element. I don't know what I did there. That might have been from last semester. So.
Yes, sir.
That
The
can happen.
notification
You
was
carry on.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the inbound marketing certification was supposed to be done by the 22nd Jan, right? But
Yeah, and again, these are guidelines, guys. I want them done in a timely order. So if they're going to take a little bit longer or something happens, just let me know. It's not a big deal. But the idea, the way that I've had them structured and set up is to help you with your assignment planning for your group projects. So if you don't do them, then you're not going to be much of an asset to your group. You see what I mean? Okay, so I would encourage you to keep on track with them within reason, a couple days here or there. Like that inbound marketing one, it says 5 hours. It'd probably take you 4. So like set a time, set aside 4 hours. And again, you get that certificate, put it on your LinkedIn profile. These are the type of the things that marketers are looking for. So, okay. We're going to do another course today in some of my buyer behavior students will already have done it, but we're going to do another course today. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yes, sorry, Dave. The questions about the meeting with the client. So I understand that we won't want to overwhelm them, but is that okay that only say one representative from each team, so 2 to talk to the clients, but other members to join in the Zoom meeting, mute it, and listen to the clients?
Yeah. So what I suggest you do, Ronald, is that 2 of you, buyer behavior and you, team project managers, meet with the client.
Yeah.
Go book a Douglas College meeting room.
Yep.
Have them sit in the room with you and listen. I just think that if you start putting faces and things up on a screen, you're going to overwhelm the client.
All right.
I think you want focus. Like, because it's just more about you guys need to drive, the 2 project managers need to drive the conversation. Because the outcome you need to get out of that is you need to understand their current situation, and you need to start thinking about what's their vision, what's their mission, and then what are some objectives that you think are reasonable for you guys to achieve. And then so you can start setting your plan.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I get it. It's just, because when we talk to the client, we do contact him. It seems that she is okay with people to join in, so that's why it seems that she's open to this one. So it's just that's why I'm asking you if this
whatever makes. I'm just saying what Ron. I just thought I've heard disasters before of all the students joining and not really having a plan, and everybody's just asking questions randomly, and it's no structure. So if you guys have structure and they're okay with you having people just listening in, that's fine. So
okay, understand that. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay.
Good. Okay. Any more questions? Totally more. Any more is mine. This is the best time to ask. Yes, no, good. I'm just going to check the chat and make sure there's no other ones in there. No other chat ones.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah.
I want to ask about the midterm because there are so much information about all the chapters and certifications. So the midterm is going to be just about the book, or is going to be, because there are some things that are going to be spoken also on their certifications, but how is it going to be?
The midterm will be all what I cover in class.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no more than what I cover in class, and it will be application based. Most likely it'll be a client, and you have to solve the client's problems. Okay, leveraging what you've understood so far. So it's a opportunity to test. Okay, test your abilities. Good. And don't worry, I won't let you hang in. I'll make sure you know exactly what the framework of that is. You're not going to get a nice little surprise. That's not what I'm here to do. Okay, I'm not that type of guy. Okay, good. Any other questions? Have I put your mind to ease yet? Everybody's okay? Are we good to rock and roll? Are we good to get into our discussion today? Okay. Okay. So how many people have taken consumer behavior or buyer behavior? How many people have taken consumer behavior, buyer behavior? Morgan's done it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who else? Okay. So some of this stuff might be, because again, it's just it's circling back over these things. Now, I'll try and change it a little bit to give you a little bit of a different flair. I'm going to try and be more focused around the world of digital and the impact on digital and leading towards behavior marketing elements and into data and segmentation. We'll talk more about that element. But to get our journey started, just to familiarize yourself, I've got a little video to wrap up. What is consumer behavior? Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Solve It Like a Marketer. This episode, we are answering the question, what is consumer behavior? Now, consumer behavior is at the heart of any successful marketing strategy. It begins with understanding why and how consumers behave the way that they do. Ultimately, it's about examining consumers as they go through what's called the purchase decision process. Now, this involves analyzing consumers as they choose, use, and dispose of products and services. Factors include consumers' emotional and psychological states of mind and their behavioral responses. Consumer behavior is made up of several different disciplines, including psychology, sociology, chemistry, and even neuroscience, just to name a few. So let's look at how all of this fits together. At the center of this chart, we see the purchase decision process. And for this video, that's what we're going to focus on. As marketers, we need to understand this concept first before dealing with the consumer's internal psychological or external sociocultural and situational influences. Those, as you can see here, are the factors that affect the buying process, but I'm going to be doing more videos on that later on. So, there are 5 stages to the purchase decision process: problem recognition, information search, alternative evaluation, purchase decision, and post-purchase behavior. Problem recognition occurs when a consumer becomes aware of a need or want that is lacking. And this could be as simple as running out of toothpaste and needing to buy more. Or it could be a want triggered by a marketing effort. For instance, I really want that new iPad. In the information search stage, the consumer searches for options to satisfy that need or want. And this could be an internal search, scanning their own memory to recall previous experience. For instance, I usually buy Colgate toothpaste from the pharmacy. That's what I'll go with again. Or an external search by asking friends, colleagues, turning to social media, for instance, for answers. In the alternative evaluation stage, the consumer may consider other brands, compare prices, complexity of use, and reliability. And this stage comes into play usually when you're making a larger purchase, such as a new computer. Next comes the purchase decision itself. Now, this stage can be influenced not only by product alternatives, but possible incentives that are offered by the seller. 2 key questions the consumer may ask themselves is, when do I buy and from whom do I buy? And finally, we have post-purchase behavior. And this sometimes gets forgotten, but is really important in today's market. In this stage, the consumer may feel anxiety or psychological tension, especially if it was a significant purchase like a computer. Did they make the right choice? And this tension is termed cognitive dissonance, and often results from businesses competing for the consumer's attention, such as Mac versus PC. It's essential that the marketer address these fears, for instance, by having a strong customer service follow-up policy and marketing efforts that target not only those thinking of buying, but those who have already bought. Now, I hope you can see just how important consumer behavior is to your marketing efforts, and this video only scratches the surface. My challenge to you is to think about your product or service and the stages that a consumer goes through to choose you over competing brands. Think like a consumer. Go through these stages of the purchase decision process and see if objectively you would choose you. Also, how do you address post-purchase behavior? If you can solve that, then you have loyal customers for life. If you have questions for me, would like to suggest a topic, please.
So when you guys think about consumer behavior, why is it important to promotional strategy? Why is it important to your promotional campaign?
May I?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Because you cannot target everybody. You won't be successful. So you need to find a specific target market that is interested in your product. And moreover, you have to find their needs and address those needs and offer them some value so they are loyal and they see the advantage of your own product. So it's important to understand who is your buyer, what are their habits, what is their buying process, and how you can help them and support them through the process.
Okay, good. Awesome, Tara. Now, in this process, guys, we said, okay, consumer behavior process, there's a needs, there's an information search, there's an alternative, there's a purchase, there's a post-purchase. Does this all happen in a very lateral experience, or could this happen in multiple different areas? Are people going to touch our brand in many different ways and different times? Like, does everybody always have the need right now? So what can you do with communication pieces in order to create that awareness? How do you create that awareness? How do you create that relationship with the customer at a stage even before there is a need for these things? And customers come in different ways. Guess what? How many of you search information? Where do you go for the information? Do you all go to Google? Not necessarily. Where else could you go to get information? Where else, guys? Where else do you go? I go to YouTube
Friends,
to fix my
family.
problems. Huh? Who? Sorry, go, Julian.
Yeah, friends, family.
Friends, influencing people, family. Yes, yeah, those pieces. Where else do you go?
Social
What other
media.
places do you go?
Social media.
Social media. Okay, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, see what people are doing. Go on, go to TikTok, see what's happening. Go on to YouTube. Hey, I want to try and fix this situation. I think I can fix it. You go on YouTube and all of a sudden you see something else in there. Oh, I need this tool to fix this problem. So now I have another need. Okay, I might have a need to, so again, go on, Juan.
We go to forums too, forums.
Forums, yes. Information search, forums, everybody has a different, what we call customer journey. And part of what the buyer behavior students are going to help you do is figure out some of those pieces. How do you think we might be able to find where customers are in now the 21st century? Where do you think how we're going to find that information?
Doing a customer research, like user experience research.
User experience, yeah. Johnson, how do we do that?
I don't know, like a primary, secondary, kind of research and talk to them, focus group, interviews, etc.
Okay, good. Yeah, we could do some of that, Marcus. Yeah, Juan, go.
Yes, what we can do is create personas to imagine how the different segments of our customers behave and try to find them there where in their activities we can connect them.
Yeah, and we might look at what? We look at data. We look at social media behavior. We look at website traffic behavior. We look at search. We look at trends analysis. We look at certain things that help us kind of understand these customers. Because the more we can understand these customers, guess what? The more we can understand their journey, and the more we can be in the right places at the right time with the right offering to guide them down the conversion funnel, because we want them to convert. That's the idea. We want them to eventually convert. So we want to give them the right pieces of information at the right time so that we are considered that option, or we are the number one option as we move forward in through that decision-making process, okay? But as you guys all articulated, you can't serve everybody, guys. Hold on. You know, one of the things we talked about a couple of weeks ago, we talked about SOSTAC. So we said, the first S is about situation analysis. Got to understand what's the current market like, what's the current element, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what are the opportunities, what are the threats, how can we look to leverage that into creating more value for our customers and helping the customers get the jobs done they need to get done. As we go down through our objectives and into the next part, which is our strategy, we start to look at STOP. Remember STOP? Segment, target, objective, position. So we need to make sure that we can do this. And I love what Daria said, because Daria said we can't go after everyone. And we don't want to go after anyone. Let's guess what? Do you like all customers? Do you like all customers?
No.
Tell me, like,
no.
I'm not wasting my time. Guess what? I don't like everybody. I'm not going to spend lots of time with everybody. I'm going to spend time with the ones that are going to give me lots of fruit. They're going to bear lots of fruit, and I'm going to build great relationships with them. So we have to first identify who is that buyer. We got to really look at segmentation, targeting, and positioning to meet that buyer and help the buyer make those decisions in the right time frame as they go forth. We also need to understand why. Why are we here? Why are they buying? What's their situation? You know, why do they buy our particular brand and product? What's so great about us? What do they like about us? Maybe we have a good personality. We're going to talk about motivation and attitude towards this. Personalities connect in consumer behavior. Okay. And this one is the most difficult because it's not based on data. It's about talking to people, interacting with people, having communication with them. It's based upon that, understanding those pieces. That's how we understand those individuals. And then the last and final thing that we want to figure out as communication specialists is that we want to know how. How do they buy? You know, why is that important? Why is that important, guys? Goes back to, there's a very, very, very significant P there. Why is that important? How they buy. Why is that important? Yeah, go ahead, Juan. You seem like you got mic open, my friend. No, nobody. Anybody?
To understand the channels where to meet the clients.
Yeah, because if you have the right person and you have the right offering, but you're in a bricks and mortar store and they only buy online, is that good for you?
No.
No. And so that's really comes down to, we got to figure out where they're at and how they want to access this value that we offer them. And so when we look at customers, like Juan had said, we got to build personas. We got to understand these customers. We got to put ourselves in their life, and we got to understand what their daily life activities are and what they do, who they are. You know, are they parents? Are they not parents? Are they kids? Are they adults? What do they do for fun? What's exciting? Because all these things can help us understand them and their personality, and maybe what motivates them, what motivates them to take action. And then we can map that into what we call our customer journey mapping. And all these things are going to be working, like the buyer behavior students are going to be helping you guys around this element. We're going to talk about them today, but they're going to really take you to the next journey. Yes, Juan, go.
And also it will help us to understand how they read and how they prioritize the information, and in what information do they trust?
Yes.
More than other.
Yes. And again, comes back to when we work with a brand, the brand has its own personality, and we typically relate with that personality, and we typically have very similar attitudes to that brand, and we are usually motivated to do the same thing. So again, yes, if we know where they are and how they're interacting in all different areas of this element, we can better serve them. We can better understand them. We can better understand their behavior and how we can support that behavior to make those things. And we can leverage different things, guys. Like here I say, you can analyze all the click behavior, the clickstream behavior is what we look on online. We look at analytics, we look at the back end, we said, okay, where's this customer coming from? What device are they coming from? How are they coming to us? Where are they coming from? Where are they going? What pages are they landing on? These are all things that allow us to figure out what their clickstream behavior is, which might tell us what their digital body language is. You know, how long does it take them before they convert with us? What is their journey? And we can say, okay, well, remember guys, birds of a feather flock together. You've heard that before? Birds of a feather flock together. Guess what? If you identify one, guess what? There's many more. And you start building those processes in, because you don't need an individual personal buyer. You don't need a persona for every single customer you work at. You have a range of customers with maybe a few different personas out there. And those are the ones you work on in the end, okay? And again, understanding the demographics, psychographics, all the segmenting pieces that we do. You guys, we've done this more and more. We need to make sure we clearly segment these markets in the right place. Okay, I'm bringing in some new knowledge because we keep you to the 4 segments, but I want you to go further. I want you to go down the pathway of really know what is the world of digital and what segmentation should we be looking at in the digital world. Before, we looked at geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral, but it's so limited. And even when we look at these elements, we should even be looking into variables of these images and then looking at some other things, which I'm going to share with you. 1 second.
Are you interested in customer segmentation? Good news, because today we're going to go over 7 of the most important and most interesting customer segmentation models for digital marketing and a little more. Let's dive into it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can get more videos like this in the future. To get the best results from any digital marketing strategy, you need to target the right people. So customer segmentation involves splitting your customers into different groups by certain qualities. Today, I'm going to tell you about 7 common types of customer segmentation. Item number 1. Demographics. You've probably heard of this one, right? This includes characteristics such as age, marital status, income level. Imagine busy single young professional living in San Diego. That would be one example. Number 2, geographic segmentation. Where are they located? Number 3, psychographic segmentation. This refers to characteristics like specific personality traits, values, hobbies, and lifestyles. This allows you to better understand your audience's mind. Number 4, technographic segmentation. This one's kind of interesting because it takes into account the type of technology people use. Do you use an iPhone? Well, I use an Android. Do you use a Mac? Well, I use a PC. Do you do most of your work on a computer? Well, I do most of my work on a computer and a phone. These would be examples. Number 5, behavioral segmentation. This is crucial for understanding how people interact with your brand. You might consider elements such as engagement or purchase history. Or you might look at how long it takes somebody to respond to marketing efforts and become a customer. Number 6, needs-based segmentation. This considers the different needs of your customers in regards to your offering and your brand. Think about your audience's struggles and then the specific product or service that you have that aligns with that. So a really great way to break up your customer type. Number 7, value-based segmentation. This one's really interesting and can tell you a lot about your business. Using this segmentation model, you can find out which audiences are the most valuable to your bottom line. Find out who your highest spenders are and get more of those, right? Okay, as a bonus, let's take a look at some segmentation tools. HubSpot, Salesforce, Infusionsoft, Marketo, Tableau, Google Analytics, Segment. These are very great tools that will allow you to slice and dice and understand your data better. In summary, it's very important you segment your customers and understand the different characteristics of them, especially from a value perspective, and then drilling down from there, demographics, psychographics, technology, behavior, needs. These things are very important. And if you can find out more about your best customers and segment them that way, you can create more of them, better target them with your marketing, and have more success. If you have a question or comment.
Okay, so what do you think, guys? Why technology? Why technology?
Super important. I think it's super important.
Why is it so important, Juan?
Because technology moves very fast and has a lot of alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
So people that uses a Mac laptop probably will use a Mac iPhone and probably will use a Mac iPhone headphones and probably will use all the systems of that brand. And around the world, we have different types of platforms like Huawei, like Microsoft, like even in the games. My daughter, for example, uses Nintendo Switch, and their games can be moved to her laptop because her laptop uses Microsoft.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's a lot of complexity.
Okay. Okay. I think I had Julio, and then Adam, and then Rafael.
Yeah, in my perspective, I think the reason why it's technology, because you can collect all this information together at the same time for one user. And you can also, this is so valuable, so you can just share and sell for another company as well. So I think that's why the technology is so important for marketing.
Good. Awesome, Julio. Thanks. Great. Adam, and then Rafaela. And then we'll come back to one.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about adding on to that of when the difference between using your phone to look something up on a social media website as opposed to maybe seeing a Google ad on your computer, the way you'd format it, what would look better, and depending on who your target is, what they'd be looking for in that certain situation that they were looking. Like, you need to change your advertising based on what platform you're using and what kind of audience you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rafaela,
sorry.
Juan, we're gonna give you 2 seconds, my friend. Rafael, you're up.
Yeah, I think that is important because in this way you can provide a better user experience. So you can talk to your clients in the language that they like you to connect with them. You know, so your service or your product need to be adaptable to the different technology that your users want and prefer.
Perfect. Love it. Yeah, Juan, go.
Yes, I think this very important was one of our I want to mention that is the information is in databases of different platforms, and that's a big problem because us as marketers will have contract with different database providers to do the work. But what is happening now, what I see is that the social media platforms are transversal. For example, Instagram. Instagram is in all platforms. We can use Instagram in all platforms. Yeah. So it's very important because instead of building an app for Android, for iPhone, for I don't know what, Instagram should, or maybe will do, a door to allow us to build apps inside Instagram. So customers will only have Instagram and will be able to use our services through Instagram. For example, go to the Instagram of Scotiabank and then inside Instagram, use the services of Scotiabank. Something like that, I think, is what should be developed.
Yeah, and Juan, and again, guys are all making it's a great elements that you're all coming up because you can really segment a market pretty quickly. You start seeing what devices they're coming in on. Remember, birds of a feather flock together. Like, if the same devices are coming together, we can start to see some patterns around this. Hey, by the way, that information's out there. Oh, they're all coming in through iOS. Okay, they're all coming through Android. And if my buyer behavior students, I don't know if they're here, I showed them a video last week about this Apple situation. And people that love Apple really truly love the brand. And people that don't have an Apple absolutely hate the brand. They have no loyalty to Android. They just hate Apple and they want an alternative. So it's a very funny story again, because again, this tells you the story. But again, when you get into these sort of elements of technology, look, Google in analytics tracks the devices comes in, because we can see which devices are they coming in, so we can prepare for how we should deliver that information to you. Like Adam had said, we got to deliver that information. We got to create that element to make it, make it register on those devices and those elements. We also need to know whether they're coming through pathways to, like Juan saying, social media. More and more consumers are getting more comfortable with social media and social commerce. We're seeing a lot more social commerce happening there, and using those devices is going to help us understand how do we meet those customers at the right places at the right time in order to offer that value. So there's a number of different things and behavior elements, the need, the value. Remember the value, I keep pushing on the value element, because you can't serve everybody, but you can create that value for that unique set of customers. And by the way, once you've got that, now you can say, hey, look, I could be Uber. Uber's got this value offering. All of a sudden they're now moving into other verticals such as food delivery, Uber Eats, and package delivery. They're leveraging the same value core, but they're shifting to different customer balance and providing the driver with more jobs, which makes the driver happy. So again, there's multiple different things in how you, and leveraging those technologies can help you understand your customer better and understand how to reach your customer better. One of the things that we do when we talk about this whole persona building, before we get to persona building, we come into the world of what we call customer journey maps. Now, some of you have heard of customer journey maps, and I'm going to show you a little bit of information on how to make an effective customer journey map. Now, you won't have to do very much of it. You might have some input into this journey, because the buyer behavior students will be coming through this. But so this giving you an idea, what is the buyer behavior, what is the consumer journey, and it's more important nowadays because of where consumers are at different stages of the buying cycle. Okay.
What's up? It's Jamal, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to turn your leads from a complete stranger to a loyal customer using a proven process called customer journey mapping. Because if they're not willing to take a journey with you, they're not willing to pay you anything, and your business is going to fail. All right, we don't want that to happen. To follow along, go download HubSpot's free customer journey templates from our description below before we start. And while you're down there, take a moment to subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. HubSpot defines the customer journey map as a visual representation of a customer's experience with a company that provides an understanding into the needs and concerns of customers, which directly motivate or inhibit their actions. In other words, you can almost picture it like HubSpot's famous flywheel model, but laid out flat, like a step-by-step map. From there, you can predict each step a customer takes, spotting moments that drive them towards the goal, as well as obstacles that'll get in the way. This customer-centric approach applies to marketing, sales, and service. The good news is that you don't have to do all of them at once. To reach the top of the customer journey, the first thing you need to do is assemble the right stakeholders who can map out each phase. Depending on which segment of your business you're mapping, this can mean people from your marketing, sales, or service teams. In some cases, you'll want to align folks from all departments by including them in the mapping process. In fact, this is pretty essential, since the transitions from one department to the next is often where customers lose their way. The other critical step at the start of any customer journey is to choose your player. This is done by identifying a buyer persona to focus on for each map. If you're not certain of your company's buyer personas, start by checking any existing business plans or marketing documents that may already identify them. If no buyer personas exist, you can quickly generate them using HubSpot's free online persona generator tool. Now you're ready to press start.
This data is wrong every freaking time.
Have you heard of HubSpot? HubSpot is a CRM platform where everything is fully integrated.
Whoa, I can see the client's whole history, calls, support tickets, emails, and here's a task from 3 days ago I totally missed.
HubSpot, grow better.
Let's begin with a customer journey map, which is the first template included in the free customer journey kit I mentioned earlier. If you haven't already downloaded it, now's a good time. You'll see that the journey has 3 major steps: awareness stage, consideration stage, and decision stage. These are the basic stages that every prospect goes through on their way to becoming a buyer. For each stage, you'll want to define the following. What is the customer thinking or feeling? What is the customer's action? What or where is the buyer researching? How will we move the buyer along in his or her journey? So now you can see how mapping works, but let's continue with a simple example. Imagine your business offers soccer classes for young kids. And let's assume that our buyer persona is the parent of 2 elementary school kids. In the awareness stage of the customer journey, the buyer may be feeling overwhelmed because they don't have anything planned to entertain the kids during an upcoming school break. To come up with ideas, the parent will likely turn to the internet. Google is the obvious first stop, but they could also go to parenting groups on Facebook. To move the buyer along at this stage, you could create a blog post titled, "What to do with kids during school breaks." You could also run targeted ads on Facebook. Next comes the consideration stage, where the customer is thinking about signing their kids up for soccer, but needs more information. We answer the same questions as the awareness stage, but further down the customer journey path. Parents might be feeling concerned that their kids don't like athletics, or perhaps classes don't fit into their work schedule. The customer is now searching for more info, and is hopefully doing it on your site. Your homepage should answer the customer's questions, in this case by explaining how soccer helps kids develop physical and social skills. You might also consider adding a pencil banner that calls out multiple locations and class times available. The consideration stage is also where tools and FAQs or live chat features come into play. And last comes the all-important decision stage, where the shopper will hopefully make a purchase. But that's far from guaranteed. In fact, research shows that a vast majority of shoppers decided not to purchase at the stage. One study found a 70% cart abandonment rate across dozens of e-commerce reports. That doesn't even count shoppers who never start a cart. So how can we turn shoppers into buyers for our kids' soccer classes? Let's use the journey map template to lead the way. By now, the customer is invested, having spent time in the consideration stage. They're probably feeling eager to solve the problem and move on with their day. They're also probably wondering about things like price, which is why you want to get them to your shopping page with prices easily visible and sign up just one click away. To close the deal, you might want to offer discounts or create urgency by letting the customer see how many open slots are left in the class, or a countdown timer showing how many days until school vacation starts. You'll know what works best for your market. What's important is having a structured process that you can follow to make sure all of these possibilities come to light. That's the magic of customer journey mapping. Wish I had a little magic wand. Boop. Magical. You can also use a delight stage, which encompasses any post-sale service you can offer to exceed customer expectations. Maybe you keep getting emails from their kids asking if their kids need to bring their own soccer ball. You can start sending a preemptive email a week before class begins, and if the answer is yes, use this as an upsell opportunity for parents to buy the ball directly from you, saving them the effort of going to the store or having to shop online. If you really want to drill down on the customer service element of the delight stage, we have a map template that focuses on just that portion of the customer journey. There's also a map dedicated to lead generation for businesses with a long cycle, and one for customer churn to help you hold on to existing customers, plus 4 more templates that will help you optimize your business to attract, engage, and delight customers. It's all free and available for download in the description. So click that link now before the next video plays. You can also sign up for our free HubSpot Academy course.
Okay, so this is what he's talking about, the customer journey. And you can see all the different elements that we talked about. We just talked about needs, looking at information, alternatives, purchasing, post-purchase element, all within that element, and building the templates to do that element. And depending, I'll put all the templates up on the portal so you guys can play around with them. And if you want to see how it all works, the buyer behavior students will be doing most of it for you. But again, just so you can see how it all works. Now, when we go through this element, so we have to see where people are at in their mind. Now, we talk about people have different needs and wants and desires, and they have different involvement when they're buying things. So what we're really trying to do is we're trying to figure out what jobs their customers needing to get done and how can we help them along that journey. One of the things we talk about, and he talks about where back in one of the videos back before, is toothpaste. Think about toothpaste. How much time and effort do you spend in making a decision to pick your toothpaste? Do you spend hours? Do you call someone, or do you go on social media? Hey, I'm stuck in the aisle at Save On and I can't figure out what toothpaste to buy.
The one that is viral.
No, you have some past experiences, some intrinsic experiences, probably most likely entrenched in you from your parents, and you're probably all buying the same toothpaste your family bought for many years. And it's habitual. It's habitual. It doesn't require lots of decision making. You go in and maybe you get to the aisle and it's like, oh my God, 50% more. Oh my God, it's got Listerine with it. Oh, okay, maybe I'll get that one instead, but that's it. The decision-making process is so quick. It's so fast, okay? Limited decision-making, a little bit more complex. Limited decision-making, again, it's a little bit more riskier, but not much more riskier. And so you're getting into this process of, hey, should I go to class or not? Should I go to class? What's the consequences if I go to class? Okay, not lots of involvement in the decision, either going to make the decision or not make the decision. But now say I'm going to buy a new home. That requires a lot more work and a lot more thinking and a lot more elements of research and saying, oh, what's the interest rates? Oh, when I buy this now, will the interest rates go up or will they go down? Is this the right time to buy? What kind of down payment should I make? What amortization should I take? Like there's a lot of decision making in that element. Buying a car, the risk element. So it's much more involved, and it takes a lot more decision making. So when we look at two sides, there's complex decision making where we go right through all the cycle, like everything is covered. Or there's simple decision making, such as buying the toothpaste. You know that you need the toothpaste and you go and select it. You don't go through the information search, you don't evaluate the alternatives. You said, I like my Colgate or I like my Crest. Boom. Hey, by the way, I haven't talked to her here yet, but my wife, she bought Colgate. I have no understanding of that because all we have in our house is Crest. And when I saw Colgate, I was freaked out. I'm like, what's this? And I had to go find some Crest because I couldn't stand it. I don't like the lid. I don't like it is that habitual, guys. It's that habitual. And when you get older like me, you get more habitual. Like your parents get older, they're getting more naggy, huh? So again, these are the things again. So when we think about consumer behavior, there is 4 basic types of buying behavior in this method. And I'm going to have my friend just going to run through them real quickly here.
Welcome to Solve It Like a Marketer. I'm Stephen Hobey. Today I'll be exploring the 4 types of buying behavior. If you like this video, please subscribe and don't go away. Now, in marketing, there are a lot of ways we can analyze buyer behavior, and one is through the purchase decision process, which I cover in another video. But today, I wanted to examine the 4 categories that we look at in consumer behavior for consumer buying. So these are extended decision-making, limited decision-making, habitual buying behavior, and variety seeking buying behavior. So let's run through them. So extended decision-making occurs when consumers are looking to buy something expensive. So this is not a quick purchase. A good example is purchasing a car or a home. Here, most consumers will spend some time doing in-depth research. They may talk to friends, family, colleagues to seek advice, and they may also search online for more input on the pros and the cons. This process could take some time, sometimes months, to finally land on a decision. Next up, limited decision-making. So here consumers are limited by the variety or availability of a particular product on the market. So, for instance, an individual may be looking for a particular type of custom frame for their reading glasses. Say in this case that there are 2 companies offering this item. Company A is charging $200 while company B $145. Now, since you don't have a lot of options, you may actually decide to spend your money on company A anyway, even though they're more expensive. The feeling is that you might as well spend higher to get better quality, even if that's not actually the case. On the flip side, we have habitual buying behavior. Now, this comes into play in our daily buying routine. In this case, we don't put a lot of thought into the purchase. Best example I always use is toothpaste. You likely have a brand that you typically use, and it isn't that expensive. So, when you run out of toothpaste, Really, without thinking, you go to the store and you pick up a refill. There isn't much thinking involved here. Finally, we have variety-seeking buying behavior. So as the name suggests, you are seeking a variety of options. Let's take a simple example of a plain t-shirt. Again, this is likely not an expensive purchase. So you could choose a variety of options for everyday use. Maybe a plain white t-shirt, one black, and one with more color. A variety to spice up your life for different occasions. So when you are designing...
Okay, so that just gives you an idea what the flow is. So again, from high to low involvement and what is available on the market. So this giving you an idea of how those decisions, there's lots of different other models, online models. Here's one, I put a link to it so you can learn more about it. This is more around influencing purchasing. We'll talk a little bit more about that element. This, you might have heard this before, showrooming and web rooming. So going in and browsing in store and then going online to buy it because it's cheaper, or it's more like, or you want it delivered to your home, or web rooming the other way around, going online first and then going to the store to purchase it. So again, there's multiple different ways that customers look at different things and different procedures and different decision-making elements along that element. And again, and it comes in the same thing when we look at awareness, trial, repurchase elements. It's again, looking at how we break these out. Okay, analytics is a big part of how we understand how our customers are buying and how they buy and what decisions they're making. And there's a whole list of questions that I put up here around analytics that you might want to follow along to allows you to answer the following questions around analytics and help you determine what that customer is and who that customer is. When we look at the whole side of the consumer response hierarchy models, we're going to talk more about these as we go. We'll definitely talk about ones that we're going to put emphasis on as idea, which is how do I create awareness? How do I convert that piece into some kind of an interest? So an interest for them to take action or create the desire for them to take action. Okay. And Dagmar's the same way. We look at how do we look at the behavior of that customer and how we're going to create the attention and convert that to an interest and push it down to them to make decisions. So there's input stimuli, meaning input stimuli. I'm going to move this other way so you can see it. Input stimuli is your 4 Ps, your advertising, your promotion. We're going to talk more. Of course, you guys are going down the pathway of promotion. You're going to look at advertising, selling, sales promotions, exhibits, point of sale, experience marketing, word of mouth, whatever you think is going to be the stimuli that's going to drive the buyer to do what, and the output is to be whatever that output is, whatever that measurement goal is, whether it's going to be brand loyalty, whether it's going to be a purchase, or it's going to be something along that line. What's the ultimate goal of what you're trying to get out of that element? We'll talk more about these elements, but again, and all these things work great, but we also have to take in the consideration and the elements of what is the consumer's attitude, what is the consumer's behavior, what is the consumer's motivation, and we think about this. So when we think about motivation, when we think about perception, when I show you this, what is your first impression? What is your first impression? What comes to mind? Come on, speak. Yeah, Adam, go. What comes to mind?
Good motivational speaker and businessman.
Okay, good motivational speaker. Okay, who else?
Orange spray.
Sorry? Julia, say again?
Yeah, the orange spray.
The orange spray. Yeah. Terrible tanning job. Okay, guys, come on. What else? What else comes to mind?
Twitter.
Huh?
Arrogant. Racist.
Arrogant.
Arrogant. Racist.
Yeah. What else?
Twitter.
These are all perceptions, guys. And we have perceptions of brands. If I put a brand up here, you would all have a perception of that brand. What if I put Red Bull up here? What's your perception? If I put Red Bull up here, what's your perception? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Come on.
I can fly.
I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
My heart screaming at me.
Huh?
My heart screaming at me from drinking the Red Bull.
The heart screaming at you for drinking Red Bull. How about adventure? Yeah?
Extreme sport.
How about extreme adventure?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, these are things of perception. Let me try something else with you because I want to try, because we also get images and we tend to do something with them. Wow. Buyer behavior students don't say anything. Okay, what do you see here? What's your first impression? What do you see in this image? Our minds are set up so we actually pull images together. What do you guys see?
A lady.
Which one do you see? What type of lady? Young, old, different? What do you see?
Yeah.
A young, a young
with the
lady.
feathers. Yeah,
Okay.
with the feathers.
Do you all see a young lady? Or does someone else see something differently? Come on.
Yes, an old lady.
You see an old lady. Rafaela, do you see the old lady? See?
No, I see the young one.
You see the young one,
Yeah,
but
I
you don't
see the
see
young
the old one. Ah, watch this. Okay, so we see the young one. Hold on. Here's the eyelash. Here's the nose. Here's her face. Here's her chin. Now, let's show you the old one. Here's her eye. Here's her nose. Here's her mouth. Do you see Rafaela? I'm gonna move this out of the way. So this is, you see her now? The old lady, she's all tucked in like this. So perception, guys, we see things the way we want to see them. We have selective perception. Rafaela wanted to see young. She didn't want to see old. Harvey wanted to see old. This is how we close the image, how we make that image out. And so that's the impression element. It's again, perception, guys. This is perception. And we can go into lots of different perception of things. But when we go through perception, a lot of things are going on. So when you went through that, most of the things that are happening was your sight. Your sight was seeing things. But a lot of times we're using this 5 senses to try and figure out what's happening here. Either it's music or it's an image or it's a smell element, but we're using all our senses and we're taking them in through our sensory receptors, which are our, what are they? Taste, touch, see, okay, smell, okay, and we're doing some, and we're processing it. We're processing it and we're trying to figure out how do we interpret this? What are we meant to do with this information? And then how does that adapt and how does that reflect on me? And that's the perceptual process, okay? And we're gonna talk more about that, but let me give you a little bit of, oh, there we go. Not move past that element. So again, so just giving you that sensory system, how it works in that perception element. By the way, we have less attention than a goldfish. On average, humans have about 3.5 seconds of attention span. 3.5 seconds. Goldfish have 9. So when you think about 3.5 seconds, that's how much time you have to impact. We go back to your promotional strategy, guys. Your promotional pieces have to grab awareness, have to grab their attention, have to pull them into that somehow. Oh, I got to pull you into this awareness. Oh, this is exciting. I want to learn more. I'm interested to learn more. Oh, there's the offering. Oh, that's it. I like that offering. How do I take action with that? And we go through that process. But again, 3.5 seconds. Okay. But when we think about this whole element, and I'll quickly highlight this, but I said attitude and motivation. Okay. When you have an unfilmed, just think about it. I bet you're all hungry right now. I bet some of you didn't even eat before coming here. And if I was to put a nice juicy burger up here and the juices were just dripping down and the cheese was melting, oh, like it's oozing with this element. And you can almost taste it. Oh, we could taste it. Oh yeah, you can taste the juiciness and that element of it. Okay, that is you have a need now. I'm making you really hungry. You want something, you desire something. There's tension now. You're like, oh, I really need a burger. Should I just leave Dave's class right now and go get a burger? Because I really need it. What is my desire? What is that drive? And the drive is the motivation. The drive is the motivation to satisfy that need. The tension is that element. Oh, I got to satisfy this need. I'm hungry. My tummy is rumbling. I got to do something about it. Okay. And then perception. Guess what? Ooh, I don't want to be seen at McDonald's. Ooh, how many people don't want to be seen at McDonald's? Come on. How many people would not want to be seen at McDonald's? Come on. What? You're at McDonald's? No, I don't go here. I'm not here. You didn't see me here. Okay. But you're okay with going to A&W, or you go to Tim Hortons. But seeing at McDonald's, oh no, that does not look good. That does not look good for my reputation. And so that is the perception of the learning elements that and the behavior you're going to do is you're going to go somewhere else because you don't want to be seen there. Or you might go there, but you might make excuses for why you're there. Okay. So again,
but once again, depends on the country that you are and depends on your cultural environment.
Yes, it all depends on your cultural environment, perception, the values that you're brought up with, what you've learned. Okay, here's another story, guys. I'll give you another one. So my son, okay, we have really instinctively changed our kids because my son goes on a field trip and he goes home with the family, another set of kids. They're, parents driving to and from the field trip, and they stop at McDonald's. They're just going to grab some food. My son, based on what we've taught him, says, they asked him, oh, do you want a cheeseburger? He's like, no, I'll just have a glass of water. Because of the perception and the learning we've taught him, we've shaped his attitude. We've shaped his perception not to eat at McDonald's. And now he won't eat at McDonald's. So again, you can be influenced, and I love that you brought that up. But again, when we talk about, guys, I want to really quickly talk about this, and I'm going to jump into an exercise here real quickly with you. But we talk about needs assessment, and we talk about wants. We have different needs, and the wants are not really needs, but they're wants that we really want. Like I want a pizza oven for my backyard. That's what I want. I want a pizza oven for my backyard. Do I really need a pizza oven? Probably not, but I really want it. So those are the differences. Okay, when we think about needs, there's many different types of needs. You guys have seen Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Food, safety, water, all those things are what we call biogenic elements. Okay, psychogenic is more about status and power, affiliation. I want to belong to that. I want to belong to that cool club. Okay, utilitarian is more about the attributes of how to solve this situation. Like how much gas per gallon, calories in a cheeseburger. Okay, hedonic is more about experiences. Hedonic is more about, hey, let's go to Vegas. Okay, it's about the excitement, the fantasy. Let's go to Disneyland. Let's go experience these things. Is more about, those are the types of needs. Now we think about a want and a need. The need is I need a new car. The want is I need a Porsche. Okay, so you can see the difference in as we go through that process. And again, the other thing that we're fighting against is this is I don't know if you've probably heard of Freud's theory about, hey, the devil, the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. You guys heard that before? So the idea is the devil and says it wants anything. It wants something right now. Nothing's going to stop it until the superego goes, oh, that's not nice. That's not nice. You shouldn't do that. And then there's a balance between them, which is the ego. So they figure out how to work together. And that's typically how Freud elements. Other things we think about as we go into this element of the attitudes formation, there's basically 3 formations of attitude. We have cognitive, which is the thinking, what we know, awareness, past experiences. Hey, what we know about the brand. If we want, we want a Coca-Cola, we know we want Coke, or we want a pop. We know Coca-Cola is the brand. That's cognitive. Oh yeah, Coke connected with that element. Then there's the affective, is the feeling, the positive, negative feelings that you can. And then it's the last piece of this piece is the cognitive element. The cognitive element is the actual doing, the action item. So, for an example, if we look at Rolls-Royce, hey, we know that Rolls-Royce is a great vehicle, has awesome elements. It's got great things. It makes it, hey, it looks great. It would make me feel really good. But am I going to go buy one? Probably not, because I'm a teacher. I don't make that kind of money. So again, I might like it. I might think that's a great brand, and I might feel great that it looks really neat and cool. Like that ghost looks awesome, but I won't buy it because it shapes our attitudes. Okay, I'll leave the component attitudes. Okay, now what I want to do for the next 32 minutes. Yeah, go ahead, Juan, go.
Yes, it's very important what you mentioned about the Rolls-Royce, because what I see in the customers is that they, of course, want the Porsche. Everybody wants the Rolls-Royce and the Porsche, and the problem is the budget. So it's like when we target and we communicate, we have to also think in what the customer is able to buy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Right?
this comes down to the segmenting and targeting, because you're not going to target everybody. You're going to segment to the people that can actually afford it. Who's the image of that element of that Porsche who's going to buy that Porsche? Now, you might do an awareness campaign because you never know. Hey, Juan, you and I might come into some money and we're like, oh, now we're capable. Like maybe 10 years from now, I don't know where you are, Juan. I'm getting to my midlife crisis. Maybe now at my midlife crisis, I'm like, okay, clear the bank account. I'm going to get that Porsche. Yeah, that's going to get me divorced. So again, but again, you still need to create you can create a big awareness. Like you can still do campaigns, big awareness campaigns. But when it comes down to actually getting who you're putting in the driver's seat, who's going for the test drive, it's not me. It's not, I don't know what your situation is. Maybe it's not you. I don't know, but it's not me for sure. I'm not the guy that they're going to put in the test driver because I'm not the person that's going to go buy that. So we want to put the right person that we think would be the person that would buy that vehicle in that doing the test drive. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, good. Okay, guys. So I am going to put you on an exercise. Now, a couple of my buyer behavior students are in this class, so they've already done this exercise. This is understanding behavioral marketing and customer segmentation, especially in a digital world. Now, the link here takes you to HubSpot, and you will do, it probably will take you no more than 30 minutes to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the groups. And I'm just going to open up random groups. You know your group numbers, 1 to whatever, 1 to, what are we, 1 to 7? Are we 7 or 9? What are we? I can't remember. 9? We're 9 groups? 7 groups?
9, yes.
9 groups. Okay. So I'm going to open 9 groups and you just randomly go to your group number. You already know what your group number is, but go do this understanding behavioral marketing segmentation, go through it, complete it. So we say it's going to probably take about 30 minutes. So we're at 10 to right now. That would take us to 20 after. Then we'll take it up to another, let's say, take it up to about 8:30-ish, and then we'll come back at 8:30. So take a little break in there if you can, and come back, and then we're just going to wrap up a couple of things around the next element of communication theory. Okay, we good with that? Good. This will help you understand your customer. This will help you a lot, guys. I'm going to open 9 groups. Here we go. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. And I'm going to let you guys choose which groups. That means you know what group number you are. So I'll let you choose those elements. If you have any questions, I'm sitting here, right here, waiting. So here you go.
Dave, I can see group 6.
Group 6. Hold on, Maria. Let's see.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Hey, David,
there.
can you put me in group 1?
Sorry?
Johnson, group 1.
Group 1. Hold on. Maria, it says you're in that group. Oh, no. Here we are. Okay. You said Maria, you're in group 6, you said?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm in group 7, but I
Group
can.
7, right?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Group 7. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Long, Gurvinder. Long, Gurvinder. Okay, welcome back, everyone. How was the experience? Good experience. What a different way of looking at things. We've been taught so many different traditional ways. This is a different way of looking at it. Behavioral marketing is the future, by the way. Experiential marketing is the future. How do we create experience? How do we get people engaged? So now we're going to shift gears, guys. We're going to shift away from consumer behavior, and we're going to move now into what we're really about. The core element of where we're going is how do we communicate with people? First off the bat, what is communication? When we talk about communication, what does communication mean to you guys? What is communication? Yeah, go ahead, Juan.
Is to transmit an idea and be sure that the receiver understood.
Okay, yeah, definitely great. Awesome. Anybody else want to add on to that?
For me, it's building trust between you and other person.
Okay,
like getting to
good.
know each other better.
Yeah, because we can build trust through communication channels. Yes, yeah. Getting to know each other, getting more of getting that message across. Yeah, anything else? Has anybody seen this before? Hold on, it's going to pop up in a minute once my screen catches up with me. Has anybody seen this before? We call it the communication model or the communication process. Now, things have changed around this element, and we're going to look at so many different models, especially with the way of online and the integration of online. But when you have someone that wants to communicate something, they need to communicate in some way. And so you have something to communicate. Now, you might encode that message in some way. You might use different channels to bring that message across, and then someone has to decode that message on the side in order to receive what you're trying to deliver. When we look back at this element of what we talked about, idea, we can talk about attention, interest, desire, and action, or we can look at Dagmar. We look at these different things are a process of creating that communication across. And we're going to talk a lot about that as we go through our journey. But when we think about the sender, the marketing advertising element, we are encoding a message. We're trying to put an idea into some kind of visual messaging or element, and then we're going to leverage something like radio, TV, print, digital media, online, Facebook, all these different things, social media elements. How do we get that message across? How do they then intercept that message, and how do they depict what that message is asking them to do, and how do they take action? And then we should have a full feedback loop of that information so we can actually see how people are responding to these things as we go. Now, when we talk about these things, sometimes also there's some pieces in there that add more credibility to things. So we might use celebrities and influencers to help that element. We might also not use celebrities, influencers that have caused some problems. So an example, you look at, Nike and H&M stopped using like Tiger Woods and supermodel Kate Moss because of their private behavior and what was going behind the scene. We also see the element of how the credibility of something we offer. So as an example, imagine going to a website and the website is just bad, like a bad experience. The style of the website, the usability of the website, all of a sudden the credibility of that brand or that offering and that value offering starts to decrease. The other piece around credibility too is that, when you guys look at reviews, when you go look at reviews, if there's a lot of positive reviews around something and there's no negative reviews, do your spidey senses go off? Because usually consumers are looking for a balance between the two. They want some positive and negative. They want the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they want to be able to play and wrestle with that element. And that sometimes can be, when we have too much positivity, that could affect the credibility of our brands and things. So when we think about these elements of credibility, trust, and anxiety, we have to look at some of the basic elements of what's in the mind of the customer, what's in the mind of our prospects, who are they, what are you offering them, and what are we offering me or them, or and why should we care? Why should I care about what makes me? Again, we go back to that feeling, that affective feeling. And then what are you trying to do? What are you trying to acquire? Are you trying to acquire new customers? Are you trying to retain? What are you trying to do around this element? There's all these big things around that. What are the variables that are going to be involved in that relationship? Now, we have a big variable that's out there in the world right now, and it's artificial intelligence, but it's also the influencer network. We've been going through this influencer network, and all of a sudden, COVID comes along, and all of a sudden a new type of influencer hits the market. Has anybody heard of Michaela before? Oh, here is Michaela. Michaela is artificial intelligence influencer.
You're probably asking yourself, how is this robot talking to me right now? Did y'all hear about the robot invasion of 2020? I mean, I've been around for a minute, but I feel like last year was on a whole other level. If you're late to the party, hey, I'm Michaela. I'm a 19-year-old robot living in LA making music and, well, I guess just keep watching and catch up. There's a reason why you're here. You belong. This is where dreams exceed expectations and where strangers become friends. This is a place where we connect, where community and individuality aren't at odds. Hey Michaelians! Our days are spent in the DMs and on Discord hanging out together, but last summer when I asked for you guys to send in questions for my Snap series Get Real Michaela, it did not disappoint. Today, we're gonna get real about everything. Y'all sent some random questions and I'm gonna answer them all. Get real, Michaela.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
What's your worst memory?
What's something about humans that you just don't get?
Hormones. That shit is messed up. And like, have y'all read the comments on my L Song Association? Cause I have, and let's just say y'all have feelings. Boss. I'm the biggest boss that you've seen thus far. I'm the biggest boss that you've seen thus far. Hey. 2020 ended up being a super busy year. After traveling to Brazil to see my girl Pablo Vittar, and then to Paris for Fashion Week, I went through a public breakup with Angel Boy, and then dropped 4 fire songs. My post-breakup anthem, Hard Feelings.
So you get an idea of what Michaela is. Do you? Has anybody followed Michaela? Anybody out there? Anybody seen this? Have heard of this before?
I'm gonna follow.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow right now.
You do follow her?
Yeah, I'm gonna start to follow her.
Do you follow her?
Is digital or has a body?
Yeah. Guys, this is the new evolution of the virtual influencer. Not only do we have virtual influencer in like search engine and voice elements around this, but we also have this new evolution. And look, it's more. Look at this. It's not the only one. She's not the only
What
one.
if I told you that a CGI influencer made of pixels, who's just a 3D render, makes millions of dollars on social media?
Millions.
Allow me to introduce you to Lil Michaela, a virtual influencer with 3 million Instagram followers. She's worked with popular fashion brands like Calvin Klein and Prada, and gets a fee of about $8,500 per sponsored post. In addition to paid posts, she is a self-proclaimed activist, promotes voting, and supports Black Lives Matter. So pretty much what a human influencer does. But what's a virtual influencer? By definition, virtual influencers or CGI influencers are fictional, computer-generated people with human-like characteristics and personalities. Actually, human simulations are not new. We've seen them before in the band Gorillaz. They lived simulated lives in games like The Sims. But the influencer marketing industry is making more and more investments into these digital humans. Meet Aypera. She's Turkey's first CGI actor, and she just signed a movie contract with one of Turkey's most famous movie producers. And renowned brands are getting in line to use virtual influencers for their marketing. They are cheaper to work with, can appear in multiple places at once, can be totally controlled, and most importantly, they never age. Brands are expected to spend as much as $15 billion annually on influencer marketing by 2022, up from $8 billion in 2019.
Inspiring people is not as easy as before, especially young audience. They're very smart, they're skeptical, and they get bored with the same content that fill their feed every day. So they look for more extraordinary, more creative and fun content, even though they know it's not real. As real as they may seem, they don't exist in the traditional sense. And behind each of these digital humans, there's a big team. These teams consist of AI specialists, computer engineers, marketing experts. And they can easily create a relatable backstory and personality for these influencers, which sometimes raise ethical questions. There are two key concerns. First of all, these characters are virtually flawless. They are fearless, they don't age, they don't get sick. So this may lead to unrealistic beauty patterns or poor self-esteem, especially among young consumers. And second is the question, who gets to design these avatars? Because most of the time, these characters are not created by what or whom they represent. For example, Shudu is a female black Brazilian virtual fashion model, and in her own words, she is the world's first digital supermodel, represented by the Digitals, the world's first all-digital modeling agency. But get this, her creator is a white man. So in case you missed the problem, that's a white man creating a black avatar. During the pandemic, while human social media stars were stuck at home, virtual ones were out in the world earning their creators millions of dollars. So are they stealing our jobs?
They will change the job market, but I don't think they will steal our jobs. In the history, every time the technological improvements changed the job market, and some people or some professions disappeared. But
can you see that? Virtual influencers. I was thinking I should have an avatar to teach this class. Again, guys, so go one.
Google, for example, when my daughter has her phone, and my daughter asks questions to Google using her voice. She's 7-year-old, and Google answers. So I think what you said is right. Probably in the future, the schools will be avatars in Google, and the children will use Google to learn.
Oh, it's this could be the future of AI and avatars and this element of virtual, but to be virtual influencers. Look how much Michaela is earning, guys. 8,500 per sort of in whatever per event. Holy crow! Like this, she's making millions for a virtual element. So again, but again, when we look at social capital and the accumulation of social capital, it really comes around three pillars: the reach pillar, the popularity, the goodwill element, the relevance, the authority, the trust element, back to trust, and the resonance element, the accumulation of the frequency. How much time are you doing? In order for us to keep that frequency, we have to keep that communication going over a period of time. Hey, by the way the brands are doing things, brands are changing everything. Think about, like, these are just some here, like Adidas has gone into this whole creators club. Like they're bringing brand advocates, like Lululemon and its ambassador program. Nike's gone a whole whack into this application, full inclusive element of building club and connection. So more and more brands are building these relationships. I'll let you guys go and take a look at those on your own time. But again, and we look at what we call the ladder of engagement. Really, when you guys are online, this is where the element hits the road, is that really most people in engagement, 90% would do nothing. Okay, 9% will engage in the lower levels of the discussion, the reviews, and the ratings, and only 1% of your visitors will actually collaborate with you. So you have to take that into your planning and elements. Like the 1% are the ones that you really want to engage with, because they're the ones that are going to be your loyal branded customers. The 9% will be probably good customers, but how loyal will they be, and how can they help you in creating these things? When we think about messaging and the way messaging and communication theory goes, we can do this is the simplest way, the single step communication. This is where we as the sender are engaged in this element. We're active, but the receiver, there's no circle back on the receiver. So the receiver is not active in this element. This is where we did this mass media. This is like going out and doing television ads. This is the kind of elements that we sort of, again, it's a great stage for awareness. Again, more and more awareness, but we need to have some circle back elements. We need to have that circle back around. We need to close the loop in our communication so we can build those relationships. We need to, one of the challenges with communication, and especially now online, is how do you get rid of the noise around you? How do you get rid of all the noise and making sure that your message is clearly communicated to that customer and are not distracted by other things that are happening around them, like Michaela or these other things? How do you actually engage with them in those elements? And we're seeing more and more of this communication where we have sender message to multiple receivers. And as we go further into it, we get into the world of the opinion leaders or the opinion formers. Like opinion leaders are the individuals, the influencers, but we have also opinion formers. These are like journalists and things like this. So all these people are interacting with you, and there's noise around this element. So how are you piercing through the noise and making sure to get your messaging through? By the way, opinion leaders typically are talking to one another in this element. And so you have this element of the opinion leaders talking to one another. You have the opinion formers that are also engaged in this element. So there's a lot of moving pieces around your communication facets, and what are they listening to? What are they hearing? And how do you make sure you get clear messaging through all these pieces in order to reach the end goal? And then how do you create circle feedback element? How do you get that feedback? Because one of the things is that we'll go build promotional material, we'll go do those elements, and we're looking towards our ultimate objective or short-term objective we want to achieve, and we're going to measure that through KPIs, but we need to make sure we have full feedback loops that are happening so we can see whether these things are working or they're interacting. Are we creating something? Are we engaging thing? And then we also have the dynamics of groupthink. Think about groupthink. And now we are in these groups elements. Are you being influenced by the group instead of the individual? And so when we think about all these elements, one of the things that we have to be really good is social listening. We have to really listen to the customers. We have to engage the customer in not only doing great customer service, but we also need to create those feedback loops. We need to create the feedback loops. We need to start to figure out, going back to the loyalty programs, how can we build point systems, or how can we build loyalty reward points in there so we can keep the customer engaged in what we're doing and helping in that cycle of building those elements. And we can leverage social media to do this thing. By the way, this is in 2020. Look, when we look at the average value of a WeChat user, it's about $15.65. So this is it's insane where these things are going. But again, also the other thing that's coming into play is that we now have the personalization of that communication. Juan was saying about his daughter going on to talking to voice. We have chatbots and messaging that are really communicating these elements, and we can leverage those to enhance the relationship and the community. There is a lot of advantages to it. It's available all the time. It's fast, it's efficient, it gets what you want, but there's also a lot of negativity to it too. You could get into the world of fake bots, negative bots. They might not be getting the answers that you need. You might not be getting the right information at the right time in order to help you in that element, because chatbots are limited based on what they're learning and what they're learning at that time. And so, and any other thing we sort of look into as we move into that integrated marketing communications, we're looking at how can we use all marketing communication in a variety of different ways to interact with the customer at different stages in order to create that relationship, and create that element of having multiple touch points and building that learning. And what we see, this is what's happening on the web. This is a very simple web communication element. You have your sender in the middle, and now you're going to opinion leaders, but you're also going to customers, opinion leaders, customers, opinion leaders, customers. It actually gets even more complicated than that, because the influencer piece gets in there, and then we have affiliate marketing gets in there. And we talk about influencers. We got the influencers that are the opinion leaders, but then we have the affiliate marketers. These are individuals that are generating commission for pushing your message to the consumers. So those things come into play, and it gets a little bit more complicated than the simple element more and more communication through the web is getting there's so much noise and messaging. How do you get through to how do you get your ultimate message through to the customer in order for them to take action and get and so these are some of the things that we have to consider as we go through. Now, other things that come into play is there's a lot of changes, and one of the things that we talk about is diffusion of innovation. When we talk about the diffusion of innovation, there is newer things that come into market. Like when we go and look at diffusion of innovation, go back to the early stages of the Airbnb or the Uber element. They were disruptors. They started off and they started disrupting the market, and they came in and at the early stages, innovators probably took advantage of it. Some people was like, yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Then as more opinion leaders got involved in it, then it got a little bit more traction. And as more and more opinion leaders push it, it pushes it into what we call the early majority. And the early majority is when it goes from the early adopters to the early majority, and it's about 15.8%, it crosses what we call the chasm. And that means that it gets full market adoption. So more and more people will buy into that element. But sometimes products and services don't make it across that element. How do you communicate that information across the right individuals? Now, when you're marketing and communicating to these individuals, you've got to cater to what the interest is. So if you're in that element of that innovators and the early adopters, you have to create the messaging that works for them to help influence you and push you into that early majority. And so that's the diffusion of, okay. So where I wanted to get to here. So again, I don't know if anybody ever read the book on Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point. He talks about this element of the law of few. The smaller the group, the more adventurous the influencers are. Like the stickiness factor, where we talk about intrinsic infection, meaning internal infection, meaning the product, the idea, message is intrinsically ingrained in you. And the element of, eventually influencers will push something towards a tipping point, and the tipping point will push it over to full market adoption. Okay. And there's and that's where that 15.8% element of that crossing the chasm element. So I don't but we can leverage lots of things, guys. We talked about customer journey. You've now done market segmentation. You've done behavioral marketing. But one of the things we can do is we can leverage technology, and we can leverage the automation piece of technology to keep the customer engaged. We don't have to be at every single place, but we can use automation to help in supporting the journey. And yes, we can use voice. We can use, a lot of these elements out there. But when we think about the new skills that are required for a marketer, here are the new skills that are required for a marketer. You need to be analytically thinking, have to understand data flows and the way that things have to understand what the information and data is saying. You need to think more agilely. You have to respond really quickly. You got to think more quickly on how to make. We're not saying, hey, we're going to implement this marketing plan and we're going to implement it for the next year. It doesn't happen. It's an ongoing element, and you have to manage this as an agile project manager. And that's what you guys are doing in your groups. You're agilely forming, you're going after these tasks, you're building these things. And you have to be curious. You have to be creative, because we need to be different. We need to be experimental. Yeah, go on, go.
Yes, that you have mentioned is very important, because I see that many companies, big companies can buy the information and get the data of the customers and build it. But I see that there's no much creativity. For example, last week I was looking for a research about the website of car companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Millionaire brands.
Yeah.
Okay. But the customer satisfaction between brands was almost the same. So any brand could differentiate against other brands in their websites. So no creativity, all show the inventory, financial sources, new trends, but nothing new. No augmented reality, no virtual reality, nothing new. No creativity. And that's important, very important.
Yeah. And again, and it is very important, because we need to get customers engaged. And the only way we're going to get customers engaged is by creating those experiences. We have to create those experiences and get them engaged, which will help build the trust and the loyalty and that repeat element. And we can leverage a lot of pieces around it. We have all this technology around us to help us in understanding where they are in the funnel and how we can interact with automation and how we can use software and things around that element to understand where they are and how we can interact with them. We have to learn all these pieces in order to element. And when we think about, guys, we'll go through these elements, but again, the cognitive stage is the attention awareness stage, the knowledge. This is where and what we want to do is we want to, in those experiment, like there's experience one, like you're saying, is that we want to enact the cognitive shelf. I want to know that I want Juan's brand because Juan brand is very exciting. And last time I had a great experience with it. And now I need that. Now I need something to solve my problem. And that experience that I had with Juan was amazing that it stuck up here. And so now I've got that awareness element. Okay, I have a need, I have a pain. I know I've had this experience before. I want to go find out where I can learn more about Juan's brand and how Juan can maybe help me with this element. So, and that leads to the interest, that leads to the desire, that leads to the liking or the preference, conviction to move forward to make that purchase or take that action. And again, this is where we're thinking, when we're thinking about these communication pieces, we got to think about how we're driving their attention and awareness to do something. What do we want them to do with that element? When we get that awareness and that element, that attention, what do we want to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to convert that into a desire to take action? Are we going to convert that? Are we trying to convert that into eventually moving down the funnel of conversion into a purchase? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to change their behavior? Are we trying to, get them more engaged in the brand and the experience of the brand? These are the things we need to think of. So as we go through their journey, and we talked about those elements. So Dagmar is one element that we'll look at more and more. We look at idea and Dagmar. Dagmar is defined as the defined advertising goals for measured advertising results. The first one is, of course, the awareness element, which is customers discover the product. Then we have the comprehensive element. This is where customers understand the product. This is where they get information to understand it. Then is the conviction. This is the customers are convinced the product's features, and then they take action. How can do I go buy it or go try it on? I go do something with it in order to enact with it. So idea is another type of elements that we use: attention, interest, desire, action. So where's the awareness stage? How do I convert that awareness stage into an interest for them to take action? Like when you guys even think about your inbound marketing process, remember that whole inbound marketing? Ooh, it's very interesting. It's very similar to this. What do I do to create awareness? And then how do I convert them into a lead? And how do I convert them into a client or a customer? And then how do I evangelize that customer into them spreading the word for me? And these are all the steps that we take in communication. So that's all I wanted to cover, guys. I hope that wasn't the fire hose at the end, but it gives you some idea where we're going to go with this journey and how we will build these pieces of communication to try and connect with customers. We got to pierce through the noise. We got to really connect and build those relationships with those customers. And we're going to find a more creative way. Like Juan was saying, we got to create those experiences. We got to create engagement with these things. We need to create the two-way experience so we get that feedback, instant feedback, so we can do something with it. Any questions? I know that's a lot coming at you for the last little bit. Any questions? I hope it's eye-opening. I hope it opened up your mind to the possibilities. And as you go work with your clients, you'll see some more cool things that we'll start to put them into place, and we'll start to see how they work. Questions, comments, queries. Look, it's 9:09. I'm not going to keep you much longer than this. If any questions, I'm hanging around for anybody that needs other things from me too. Anything, any questions? Yeah. Okay, no questions. Adios. Goodbye. I can hang around for anybody. I know there was one group that we need to reach out to. Jaws. Let's do that. Anybody else that needs my help with anything, I'm here.
We need help about the group.
Yeah, we can work with that, Julian.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome. Thank you, Antonio.
Thank you, Dave. Good night.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to stop recording, guys, so we don't